recorded. It will be shared. Okay. Thank you for joining me this afternoon on understanding your health and safety responsibilities. This webinar will be recorded for social media purposes and empowering purposes. I have promised a lot of people that if they couldn't make the 5 o'clock time slot, I was happy to share with them. So everybody was sent a copy of the How Do You Stack Up in Business toolkit to work through for their business in the registration email. And then we're going to go through the presentation, and then a copy of the presentation as well as these slides will be sent to everybody as of tomorrow by my lovely assistant, Jolene. So understanding the health and safety responsibilities. The reason why I'm running, oh, Jolene, it's not working already. Technical. Oh. Okay, who am I? I am pretty much Ange Dion. For those of you who have not met me before, I am pretty much a woman in construction. Predominantly, my game started in 19 years ago in the HVAC industry for an air conditioning company. I was sent out to do safety as the safety officer, or the WHS admin girl back then. I am since then become knowledgeable in my game. I've been around for a very long time. I'm probably one of the first women in construction 19 years ago. I do wear the boots. I am known to go out with the steel caps, although people say, oh, you look pretty when you turn up to meetings. Yeah, I look pretty, but then sometimes, as the picture shows, I do put the high vis on and I do go to site. I assist businesses with work cover prosecutions. I assist businesses with accident investigations, subcontractor management, their contractual requirements for safety in construction. So if they're going for a big tender, they'll need some safety documentation to get them over the line. I do assisting with auditing and compliance. I am probably the whiz on CM3 accreditation, although it does drive me nuts to do it regularly. I've got a background in return to health with musculoskeletal experience. I've been a retired massage therapist of 19 years. When I hung up my career, I pretty much put return to work into the business so that way I can empower people to come back to work. I do have training in mental health. I am a life coach outside of here, and I have NLP training and mental health strategies to help people get unstuck from their situations. And of course, when I'm not online as on a webinar or I'm not training at the Institute, I am a trainer for a approved safe work trainer, where I train white cards on Mondays predominantly. And then I do OH&S training. So I do the refresher, the representatives course, and I also do Cert 4 in training and assessment, as well as Cert 4 in safety. So I've got a few hats on. It gives me a variety of things to do, which keeps me active, but it also, what it does is keeps me current in the game. Being in safety is not easy. It is one of those things that you've got to be on top of legislation. My mission in my business is to empower business owners to improve their work health and safety culture in the business, procedures through speaking, training, and mentoring. I provide simple safety solutions and encourage proactive, responsive, and continual improvement within a company. The idea of that is that things change within minutes, and if there is an incident in a business, it can look pretty well. They can shut you down, or it could be a loss of productivity, it could be loss of income, it could be quite a few. And then, of course, there's some penalties that I will share with you a bit later on. So that's what I do. Today, we're going to talk about the current laws. In New South Wales, it's the Work Health and Safety Act of 2011 and the regulation of 17. It is across most states. It is the same. In Victoria, the legislation is slightly different. So these acts and regulations apply to pretty much everywhere except for Melbourne. Melbourne is working on the Working Health and Safety Act of 2004 and the current regulations. So they haven't switched over just yet. What it means is that at the end of the day, we have, if I go to Melbourne or if I'm doing Melbourne work, I've got to look at the different laws down there when I'm writing up safety documentation or if I'm presenting. Slight differences, but still it is a difference. So we make sure that all their documents reference the laws in their state rather than what's going on in New South Wales. If you haven't seen the current Work Health and Safety Act and the regulations, I've just downloaded the new version. There is, no kidding, 600 pages. And a lot of people don't want to read this, hence why we run this webinar, so we can simplify what you need to know. the responsibilities of being in a business and as business operator, the principles that apply to people and who's the principal and who has the duty, safe work, their powers, and reporting an accident or incident. I'm going to share with you the current penalties and what it looks like if there is an accident in your business. And then there'll be some Q&A, but I will stop I'll stop the recording before we do Q&A. Okay, then that way everybody's got a safe space to ask questions regarding this business. Now, current laws. Like I said, Work Health and Safety Act of 2011 and the regulation of 17. The objectives are: the duty of care is to act in a way that does not put others at risk of potential harm. I say this in my training every week, and I say the simplest way to remember this: if it's going to hurt you or kill you, don't do it. Number one golden rule. Number two golden rule: if it's going to hurt or kill anybody else, then definitely don't do it. Because there are some penalties, and apart, like if you kill somebody else in the business, it'll play on your mind forever. So the idea is to not do either. Don't kill yourself, don't kill anybody else. And if it's going to hurt you or kill you, you have the right to speak up. The current objectives of the laws are to promote a health and safe welfare of people of work. So make sure that everyone's safe whilst they're coming and going into the business. Protect the people against hazards and risks at work. Promote a safe and healthy work environment. Provide for consultation between management and its workers and the contractors. Identify, assess, eliminate, and control any hazards. And for people working outdoors or outside of the business scope, protect people against any risks of equipment being used in public places. So the best example of that is like the council workers, when they put roadwork signs up, they barricade everything, they section off everything, they say, please slow down, we've got workers on foot. And that's a great example of protecting the people from the risks outdoors, drivers, oncoming traffic. Of course, it doesn't always work, and that's why we call them accidents, and hence why recently we had a young lady killed on the road, on the freeway, where she was actually, they said roadworks ahead, but unfortunately the accident did happen. So the duty of officers. Now, the PCBU, anybody conducting a business or undertaking. And I'm going to show you the definition of what it looks like as a PCBU and who you're responsible for. The person conducting business undertaking, if you have an ABN number and you're running a business, get a business brand, logo, office address, you are a PCBU. Your obligation under this act, as an officer of a PCBU, you must exercise due diligence to ensure that the PCBU complies with that duty or the obligation. Now, everybody who holds this duty must use the 3 C's. They must consult, they must cooperate, and they must coordinate activities with all other persons who have duties over the same matter. Now, your duties are standalone. You cannot pass on or negate your responsibilities. People who usually have these responsibilities as an officer is a director. So if you're a director, CEO, operations manager, all the top management, person who makes or participates in making a decision that affects the whole or a substantial part of the business or the corporation. A person who has the capacity to affect significantly the corporation's financial standing, that counts as a CFO. And a person in accordance with those instructions or wishes that the directors of the corporation are accustomed to act. So a board of directors, predominantly, are all responsible, classified as PCBUs or officers. What it means is they're expected to take reasonable steps to gain the update knowledge of work health and safety, gain an understanding of the operations, hazards, risks of business or undertaking, to ensure you have the appropriate resources that are available for use to eliminate any hazards or minimize any risks in the business, ensure the management of information about all accidents, incidents, hazards, and risks is notified in a timely manner, ensure implemented processes comply with the duties, for example, reporting notifiable incidents, consultation, provision of training, and to verify that your resources and processes have been provided and are implemented. So it's not just about running a business, opening up a business, it's about setting things in place, putting the wheels in motion. The key principles that apply to all in the Act is that you cannot transfer your duties. You're sitting on the director's seat, you're the director, which means you will be prosecuted or you will be responsible for setting up systems in your business. Now, they say that some people can have two duties. It can be your HR manager, could be working as a safety person as well. There are a lot of companies that have the HR division is also looking after safety. It could be that you could have the health and safety committee in your business where you have health and safety representative who works in the warehouse. As my brother is an example, prime example of this. He works at Qantas. He's in the warehouse and distribution center. And what he does is, although he's got his role, he's also health and safety representative. So he's got two duties. He's also responsible for safety. More than one person can have the same duty. So there could be a team of people looking after safety and implementing safety in the business. And then they all have to do the management of risks. So it's pretty much pushing towards everybody's got a safety responsibility, not just the top management, because it filters right through down to the employees. And this is what we need to train people. We need to let them know that, it doesn't, because some workers think, oh, it's, it won't be my fault if something happens. It'll be the manager's. No, it's everybody's duty of care. Everybody has the same duty to make sure that you don't harm yourself or anybody else. But on the same token, you want to make sure that everybody's empowered with cultural awareness. We don't want this, I'll be right, mate, or it won't happen to me mentality, because the minute complacency starts, accidents do happen. So in saying that, this is the definition of who's covered in your business. A person conducting a business or undertaking could be a body corporate, could be an incorporated association. It could be a partnership, or it could be a not-for-profit. So it's not just you as the person running the business, it's other divisions as well. So it's not just like people say to me, you're in construction. The laws apply to everybody running a business. Strata committees, body corporates, Salvation Army. Although they're a volunteer organization, it applies to them as well. The duty is to, so far as reasonably practicable, you must ensure the safety of everybody of coming into your business. Now, as a PCBU, the person conducting a business or undertaking, you have a duty of care to the worker. Now, the worker could be a direct employee, could be a subcontractor, could be your labor hire, it could be a work experience student, it could be a volunteer, or it could be apprentices or trainees in the business. Definition of worker, anybody working under your banner. Now, with subcontractors, people say to me, oh, they're a subcontractor, they've got their own insurance. I said, yes, but there's a fine line of subcontracting. If your subcontractors work for you predominantly, for the bulk of their work is through you, they're classified as an employee. They will be going under your insurance premiums and under your insurance policy if there's an accident. So just a few things to keep in mind. So the responsibilities of a PCBU, you must ensure you provide a safe and healthy workplace, provide safe equipment and systems of work. You must show people how to do things, and you must have safety equipment provided. For example, a lot of people are running home-based businesses these days, and this is what some people don't know about. When you're running a business, it should be everything you have in the business operations should be tested and tagged. Now, for example, it should be a PowerPoint. I'll just grab an example for you, just so I can share. Ideally, the legislation states that if you are running a business, ooh, what happened there? Ooh. Okay, back here. Okay, so this one here states, try not to bump this because there seems to be a trigger going on. Oh, what? Okay. You guys are having a bit of a technical glitch this afternoon. Wouldn't be a webinar without it. Let's not touch anything. Okay, so if you are running a business, home-based, you have a laptop. Minimum, anything here's got a plug has to be tested and tagged. Usually by a licensed electrician or by somebody who's done the New South Wales testing and tagging course, or if you're in Victoria, testing and tagging, must be checked before you use it, take it anywhere. So if you're on site at home, your office, anything in the office that's used for the office, whether it's your printers, got to be checked annually. Warehousing, all your tools that have plugs need to be tested 6 monthly. And in construction, predominantly 3 monthly. Everything else needs to be done 3 monthly. But there are some builders that want you to do this on a monthly basis. So this is a process that everybody should be doing, because you don't want your phones, chargers, or your laptop chargers blowing up at home and not having been tested. You might have problems with your insurance policy. So I dare say, as a tip, take that away. Make sure you share that with people. Licensed electrician to check your electrical appliances. Anything that's got a plug's got to be tested and tagged 12 monthly in the office-based environment, quarterly in New South Wales legislation. And if the builder wants it on a monthly basis, then make sure you get it done monthly. You won't be allowed to take anything to site without it being tested. You're to maintain safe handling and storage of any equipment, structures, and substances. You're to provide adequate facilities for workers, such as a first aid, lunchroom, and toilets on site. You're to provide for information, instruction, training, and supervision. You're to monitor the health and conditions of your workers. Make sure they're fit to attend, healthy to work. If they're under the influence of alcohol or drugs, you should be removing them from the premises immediately. To prevent any illness or injury to workers working in your company. Provide medical assistance for any injured worker. If someone gets injured in your business, you should be making sure that they're taken care of. And to consult with workers on safety-related issues. That's what the law says we're supposed to be doing. And if you're not doing that, then you better start, because the future is that people are getting penalised on a daily basis. Now, as part of this webinar, everybody received the toolkit. In the toolkit, it's pretty much the steps that you need to have in your business. And as a guide, pretty much, and you're going to get a copy of this presentation, so you'll be able to go through the slides. You get a letter of offer. You should have as a minimum a letter of offer and job descriptions. You should have your company induction, your company policies, which state your commitment. You should have managing risks and hazards in your business, accompanied by processes, procedures, or safe work method statements. In consultation, you should be talking to your teams either on a monthly basis, or you might be having a weekly meeting, or you might be having a management meeting once a month, or you might be having toolbox talks in construction. Ideally, you must have a meeting, but you must be speaking about safety or asking them if everything's okay, or giving them the opportunity to speak up in the meeting. You should be providing training for safety, monitoring, auditing on your workers and checking that they're working safely. You should have a reporting structure in place to see what you're doing on a monthly basis, and if you're ticking off these boxes in this checklist. Checking on your workers' capabilities, updating their skill set. If they've done scissor lift training and it's expired, or they've got to do further training on first aid or fire warden, make sure that you've got them refreshed. Make sure you've got a safe working environment by looking around the environment and doing a risk assessment. And you should have workers' compensation and a return to work program in your business. They're your basics, and they should be implemented no matter how small a business operator you are. The smaller you are, obviously, as a sole trader, people say to me, I'm just the one-man person. I said, yep, that's me too. I might be the one-man sole trader, but I am also the worker. So I need to make sure I've got processes in place and systems in place for my business. I also need to make sure I've got insurance for when I go to site. So if I get injured, then I'm claiming through my insurance and not the company that I'm working with. So that's your little toolkit. I'd like to go to Safe Work New South Wales now and talk about the inspectors. I don't know if you've had any experience or exposure with Safe Work. However, they have more power than the police, and they don't need an appointment to come and see you. They turn up to site. They could turn up random. They could turn up by invitation. There is a little app that's been put out now. It's called Speak Up, Save Lives. And what you do in Speak Up, Save Lives is you report something that's not safe. So, for example, if you've been working on a site or you've been working in a business and you're not happy because things are not getting done, they're not following safety protocols, or they have no safety systems in place, you can log a complaint in the Speak Up Save Lives app, which you can download off your Apple iPhone Play Store or the Google Play Store, and you can log a complaint. And usually the safe work inspectors will come out to investigate within 2 weeks. Now, when they turn up, they're coming out, sometimes they're coming out for the complaint, sometimes they're just in the area, okay? Like I said, they don't need an appointment. The biggest mistake you can make is saying, please come back another day, I'm too busy to see you, or I haven't got time for you today, I'm really busy. My advice to you is, if there is a safe work inspector on site, you give them your undivided attention. The other thing I want you to know is that as safe work, they're going to come out looking for, they provide advice and information on safety systems or safety advice, or to do things safely, but they also investigate workplace incidents. The other thing they do is they enforce the law. A lot of people don't know this, but they can actually give you on-the-spot penalties. So one of the penalties they could issue you is a white card. Now, most of you will have heard of a white card for construction. If a safe work inspector turns up and asks you to produce your white card, you must be able to produce it on the spot. If you can't produce it on the spot, you'll be looking at a penalty. You've got two choices. You can put it into your Service New South Wales app and show a digital copy, provided you have internet. Or you can have the physical copy to show to an inspector on site straight away. If you cannot produce either of the two immediately, they won't let you go to your bag, go to your toolkit, go to your car, or go and find it. If you can't produce it on the spot, you have a penalty. That penalty for you is $1,650. So if you're licensed in anything and you haven't got it in front of you or with you to present it, you will be penalized. What you don't know is that the corporation you work for will get a $6,000 penalty because you couldn't produce your white card, which then means that if you're an ABN operator, like myself, you get two penalties. You get $7,650. So my tip to you is, if you're on this call and you have a team and they have white card or any licensing, please get them to put their licensing in the Service New South Wales app, because in my career and in my history, everybody has their phone on them. It's the quickest and fastest way to produce your license is on your New South Wales government licensing app, Service New South Wales, or any other government app, but ideally, and I'm sure it's the same in Victoria, I just haven't experienced it because I haven't got somebody to show me, but ideally that would be the same. So please make sure all your digital licenses are up to date and are on your phone for display. Now, when safe work comes out, they can stop work immediately. If they find something that's unsafe, they can stop they'll pretty much put a padlock. So there was an incident recently in New South Wales at fish markets, where we had an incident a couple of weeks ago. If you're watching the news on Channel 7's clipping, you'll see the inspectors actually put a big chain on the door, and they did a cease trade at 2 o'clock. All workers on site were ordered to put their tools down at 2 p.m. on Thursday afternoon. This was Thursday just before the long weekend. And they closed the site down until further notice. Now, that could be a week, a day, 2 days, 3 weeks, a month, or months. So if safe work comes to site after an accident and there's been an incident, a serious incident, they will shut down. Or if they see the site is unsafe, they will shut down the site. They do a cease trade, which means everybody's got to stop working. So ideally, I wouldn't want anybody caught out off guard in front of a safe work inspector for not having their licensing. And I would hate to think it happens in your business. So please be very mindful. Reporting an accident or an incident, notifiable incidents, serious incident of a death or a disability, life-changing experience, or a dangerous incident, near misses have to be notified to work cover. 131050 is their information line. It's also their reporting accidents line, and it must be done within 48 hours. My advice to you is, don't forget about it and not report it, because you will get charged for not reporting the incident. The other thing I want you to remember is that when you do get on the phone to Safe Work New South, or to call work cover on 131050, you get pen and paper and you make sure you've got all your information ready to go. The actual Safe Work inspector will be asking you about 15 different questions regarding the business accident, the business unit, what you do, everything relating to that incident and safety procedures in the business. So if you're going to get on the phone, you make sure you've got a copy of the licensing of the person that's been injured, exactly what happened in the incident, and all the documentation ready to go. The sooner you can respond to the accidents, the quicker your case will be resolved. Now, if you report an incident and you've given all this information, they might say to you one of two things. We're not coming out to investigate at the moment. You can resume working, or we'll be out within 24 hours. You'll see us tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Be prepared. Okay, preparation is key. The more you have to present to a safe work inspector, the more organised you are, the better you'll be after an incident. Now, this is the penalty slide. This is a slide that I don't like showing because people get upset with me. However, this is what it looks like if there is an accident in your business. The current laws in New South Wales say that if you have a Category 1 offence where you've killed somebody, there's a death or a serious injury or illness, the current penalty is $3,463,000 to the corporation. The persons conducting the business or undertaking or any of the officers, if you are found to be responsible for causing that accident, you're up for a $692,550 personal fine. For individual workers, and I say this as a worker, if you are in the business and you've killed that person, if you kill yourself, we can't charge you. But if you kill somebody else, you were negligent for causing this accident, you could be out for $346,500 and or 5 years imprisonment. A duty holder fails to comply with the duties of health and safety that exposes a person to risk of death of serious injury or illness will be up for $1,731,500. If the person's conducting the business taking, and let me tell you, in the case of an accident, if you are in front of an investigator and then you end up in front of a judge, they'll be prosecuting across from top management all the way down. They'll be wanting to speak to everybody. If persons conducting a business undertaking or the officers are found to be negligent, $346,500 for the Category 2 offence. Then the worker in the business. If that worker was found to be negligent, $173,000. Now, your Category 3 offence, a duty holder fails to comply with the health and safety duty. This one pretty much, no safety systems, no documentation, no nothing, because I keep getting told sometimes I've been around for 6 years, I haven't got anything, I've got no documentation. Current corporation penalties, $577,000. The PCBU or the officers, $115,500. And the individuals or the workers working in the business that didn't know, or they, you can't, they didn't get any paperwork to sign, or they didn't get given any processes or procedures, they could be up for $57,500. This is stuff that we need to share because the future of safety looks like this. And if you don't believe me, you can scroll down to the bottom of the Safe Work New South Wales website, or on Work Cover Victoria, or any website, Safe Work Australia, New South Wales, or Safe Work Australia. They will have the recent incidents in the last 3 months, in the last quarter, and the penalties that applied to the directors and the business units. And let me tell you, it's an eye-opening experience. So that is a slide that I don't like to share. I tell people, have you seen this? And then I watch people's faces when I do share this. So ideally, I want you to have a look and keep that in mind. And if this is going to help somebody else, or somebody who's in business and needs this, please, by all means, feel free to share. Some questions I want you to consider in your business. Are you being proactive or reactive with your safety? Proactive, you've got systems in place. Reactive, we're going to wait till an incident happens. Are you aware of your responsibilities under the current work health and safety laws? Do you have safety systems in your business? Do you have inductions? Do you have policies, training, safe work method statements? Do you have an accident reporting procedure and a return to work program in place? Are you aware of the incident reporting guidelines, what to report, when to report it, who to call? Have you trained your team, or do you need further training? How would you stack up in court should there be an accident in your business? And how confident are you talking to Safe Work or Work Cover Victoria or any governing body if they turn up on site? There's some questions I want you to consider. Make sure you just do a helicopter ride over the top of your business and see where you stack up or how you stack up. Now, how I help people in business, I usually hear these things. You have no time for safety or to implement safety systems, or you don't know what to do or where to start. Or usually I've bought a program from Safety Culture, or I've bought a H&S stocks and I don't know what to do with them. It's great to buy a system, fantastic. However, most of the times once you've purchased it, you don't know what to do with it. You want to comply with the laws, but you've got no idea where to go, what to do, or you can't keep up with the changes. Keeping you up to date, advise you of all the mandatory compliances and what you need to have in your business. That's where we come in. Increase the level of awareness amongst your employees for identifying hazards in the workplace. As a result, your employees can avoid accidents or improves company morale as a safety culture is being taken care of or improved in the business. Training your team for company procedures. We do workshops where we train people on how to read safe work method statements, how to write them, or risk assessments, what we need to do on site. We do keynote presentations for your employees. Pretty much we're running at the moment Safe Site, which is a program that's being run by a company called Air Conditioning Guys. They've asked me to be their host speaker. So we do a toolbox talk out on construction sites. Everybody gets fed. We have a toolbox presentation in empowering them in safety culture. So we can change from the "we'll be right, mate" or the "it won't happen to me" mentality into let's look at what we can do to work safely so we all go home at the end of the day. We do toolbox talks for the small business operator who doesn't know what topics to talk about. We'll bring out some documentation or run a presentation at a toolbox talk. It's less cost than hiring an employee if you work with a safety consultant. And because we don't get the benefits of being full-time on the books. Improving the costs and company morale, more importantly, less insurance costs if there is a safety culture and the team is working safely and you've got a healthy attitude towards safety and risks and hazards in the business, less medical fees so you probably won't have an accident, and helps increase your profitability of the company. And of course, talking to me is a hell of a lot cheaper than calling for a solicitor for advice. So that's how I help my businesses or the current businesses that I work with. So in saying that, I've got some testimonials and some socials for you to check out if you haven't seen me before or you haven't seen what I can do. There is, you're welcome to connect with our socials. And then please, if you've got one thing out of today, I would appreciate a review or a Google testimonial so we can pop it on our socials as well. And of course, we'd like to know that we've helped some people along the way. If you'd like to connect with me, you can have a chat. So today you basically get a copy of this was given to you in the registration. Tomorrow you will also get a connect with me. You're going to get the copy of the recording as well as the slides. But for those of you that are watching this presentation, you can book in a complimentary 30-minute call so we can discuss your business or how you stack up. For those of you who've attended and stayed on the call, I will happily give you a complimentary audit of your business units, or what you need in your business. We can work through this into your business for being on the call and hanging out with me for the last half an hour or so. So there is no pitch to sell you anything, unfortunately. I didn't feel I wanted to sell anybody because everybody's business is different. However, if you'd like to have a chat on working together or how we can work together, then by all means, please connect. Like I said, I would love you to share this with people in your business or other businesses around you. The idea is to empower and promote safety responsibilities amongst everybody in the business, right down to the worker. So not from the top all the way down to the bottom. So that's me. I will put any questions there, and I'm going to stop this recording now so that we can share it. And then anybody's got questions, I'll be happy to hang back and answer your questions for you. So I'd like to say thank you for being here today. I appreciate your time, and I hope you got something out of this webinar.